So
and what I also
saying that
tell
they'll
black
never
women,
get
if you're going to
married-
go get you an African man from the continent, you're going to have to understand that the way in which you talk to black men in America will not be tolerated over there.
Why the fuck is it
It's
tolerated?
not tolerated here. That's what we're trying to tell them.
Well, over here, I want to say this to us, though, because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down, or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality.
We have to be
And the
held
strong-
accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection.
So
and what I
instead of
also
saying that
tell
they'll
black
never
women,
get
if you're going to
married-
go get
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem, Makakudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawada from the Men of Valor campaign, Greenville, South Carolina, coming back with another video in sincerity and in truth. Lord willing, can be edified. And this has been the talk of the so-called black community as of late. You know, I've seen different channels go in on it, and ain't none of them getting the point. Some of them are kind of, mentioning things, but this all goes back to ultimately the curses. He's talking about, basically different things. He's speaking about if a woman, first of all, let's address this because Dr. Umar Johnson, he got this shit wrong. All right, the Southern Kingdom, so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, all right, they are not from Africa. All right, we as the Israelites are not from Africa. As I covered, I believe in one of the last videos I did, due to, going through history, we were picked up off the west coast of Africa. We were ran out of our land by the Romans, in 70 AD and fled into areas of Africa. All right, but we are not African. We are not African. Like the scriptures say, the Lord, he basically said a difference between the Egyptian and Israel, right? Because the ancient Egyptians are indeed African. All right, they are the nation of Ham. They're Hamites, in different tribes, right? But there's a difference between Ham and Israel, man. All right, we're not Hamites. Let's get that out of the way first. But he's talking about, if a sister, and when he says sister, he means a so-called black woman wanted to go over to Africa and get a man. They're not going to tolerate, they're not going to tolerate the way that so-called black women talk to so-called black men today, right? And what the two gentlemen were saying was like, hey, we don't tolerate it now. All right, but see, here's the thing. We're defeated people over here, okay? And what he tries to go on to speak about is the fact that he said that we created this personality. We created this persona. We are the reason that these women act like this, and that's just straight bullshit, okay? That's straight bullshit, and I want to actually start with the curses, okay? Because that's what it goes back to. Right? In Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we'll read some of this, verse 54, but I want to jump real quick to verse 15. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15, it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power. See, these laws, statutes, and commandments are for the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, we went into a covenant with the Most High. All right, and the Lord set up guidelines. If you follow this, all these things will happen. If you don't follow, then these things will happen to you, right? So the Lord is telling us, the verses 1 through 13 are all blessings. Go in the house. Verses 1 through 14, Slaki, or 1 through 13, go through the blessings, and you can read through those, and that's what we're about to come into. That's what we're about to, receive when the Lord puts His Spirit in us and gives us new bodies, and we're gonna be, the law is gonna be easy to follow. All right, we're gonna be in bodies that are not subject to sin anymore, right? But verse 14 on down, verse 14 to 68, if we didn't follow these laws, statutes, commandments, these are the things that will happen to us. All right, and it's for a sign, a token. This is how we're able to identify just who the Israelites are. All right, and so going right back to verse 13, it says, so like at verse 15 again, it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So it goes through all these curses. So I'm going to jump back to verse 54. And this is why these women speak to us the way we do. This is why, there's so much discourse amongst our people. All right. Ultimately, the Israelite man isn't the head. All right. The Lord had a new thing created. The Lord would not grab that next. But Eve, all right, these women, they went into a damn covenant with the serpent. And now they've been elevated over us. So they don't respect us. So, of course, they're going to talk to us any type of way. All right. But that's about to change, too. But verse 54, it says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate. Actually, I need to go to verse 56. But this is, verse 54 is going that I shall be evil to thy brother, toward thy brother. And that's why all the violence and whatnot happens amongst our people, both northern and southern kingdom. But I meant to get verse 56. It says, the tender and delicate woman among you, which will not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Right. Our women used to be very graceful, very shamefaced at one point in time. Not in that rah-rah brawling spirit that they're in now. All right, our women used to be women. You can see how some of these, Middle Eastern women, act, the ones that are actually in order. You can compare that for reference. But they were Israelite women, But now our women, look at our women, drive through a damn hood, Look at these women, what these women are promoting on social media, shaking their ass every damn where. And the scriptures say that this would happen as well. Right, so our women used to be tender and delicate. It says, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. The woman straight up nuked the family structure, man. And what he's talking about, mass incarceration, this was shit that Esau put in place. All right, he flooded the damn hoods. First of all, you could take Detroit for an example. All right, these men had jobs. All right, then they ended up taking these jobs, these different, all these car manufacturing, places and whatnot, because that was a hub for that, back in the 50s and 60s and whatnot. But what did they do? They went and outsourced it to China, outsourced it out of the country. So these men were without jobs. All right, so then poverty pretty much started to strike. And what did they do after that? They pretty much introduced crack. They introduced heroin to try to destroy, because Esau's been trying to destroy us as a people. All right, that us in our natural order, he can't fuck with us, man. But he constantly put things in place to have us fall, and that was one of the things. He put in drugs. He put in all this, of course, not to take accountability away from these niggas, because, hey, you still had a choice. You still had a choice. And a lot of these men turned to do that to make quick money, and it created violence. It created more discourse in our community, where we were living, right? So then Esau pretty much came in with the war on crime, the war on drugs, and that began the mass incarceration. Another incentive to kick the man, to remove the man from the family structure was welfare, all right? And that's what Dr. Umar Johnson now is speaking about. All right, the welfare system. Men literally cannot be in the house for them to receive those benefits. And that's that covenant that Eve made with the serpent, man. All right, where she would be able to be elevated over the man. And this, now it's been 2 or 3 generations, and we see how fucked up we are as a people. Which we were never really good since we came over here. And, Esau was taking our women, popping them, sending them back. All this men are wickedness. So our women didn't belong to us no way, but this fully removed. All right, because if you go into, history, there were different spurts of time where Jake was pretty much, doing okay for themselves, man. But this is not the place of our rest. So, hey, Esau being the devil he is, of course he's gonna come crash the damn party, man. You know, but that just proves that's why they taught us the way they do, and they've been elevated over us. So of course they don't have any incentive to respect us. You know who they do respect? The so-called white man. You know, Zaddy as they call them. You know, they respect them way more than they respect us. Right? So that just shows that. You know, it ain't so-called black men's fault. You know, that's what Dr. Umar, and he probably got a lot of women that support him and follow him and shit. And that's why he talking that good game, because he don't want that money to dry up. But I want to finish off with this. You know, and not to make an excuse for these niggas, man. All right, the Lord has already judged us as a nation. Now he's about to judge us as individuals. He's going to judge these other nations as nations very soon, and he's going to use us to do it. But right now, all right, hey, we're in a place of grace and mercy. The gospel's being preached. So if you want to continue to be a damn pookie ass nigga, hey, you gonna fucking die. All right, this gospel is being preached, man. Some of us grew up in the hood. Some of us came from fucked up ass past, but the Lord called us into this truth. We heard this word and we repented, and the Lord is dealing with us accordingly. All right, and these women too. You know, because I know at the end of his video he was talking about we pretty much gotta take accountability for their badass actions, for their poor ass excuses. They want to go and see, that's why, hey, the ancient customs, you know, reign supreme, man. All right, the law, statutes, and commandments reign supreme, because back when, you know, marriages were arranged and the father was in the household, he would pretty much go find a husband for the daughter. It was a coming together of families. But once again, you remove the father and you allow these women to choose their men, and they choose wrong. We see a whole nation of women that choose incorrectly, man. All right, more than likely, man, you'll run across a woman, and more than likely she has a damn child already. And guess what? She's not with the child's father. Okay, and that's on both of them. But this is what happens when you give that woman that liberty to choose. They choose incorrectly, and when you say something about it, oh, you hate women all of a sudden. You know, so that's just another on that point. But I wanted to bring this out. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 31, at verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. You see? All right, and this happened by way of, especially in this time, you know, where Esau has elevated these women, allowed them to go to work, you know, so that they can be taxed. Now they in that spirit of, oh, I don't need a man. All right, these American women are the only ones that say, oh, I don't need no man to take care of me. All right, but when the barbarian is at the gate and all hell breaking loose, you're going to realize that you need a man. All right, and for a lot of you women, it's going to be way too late. You know, way too late. You know, way too late. Let's see if you in that same rah-rah spirit when the troops is beating down your damn door, man. You're going to want to get in line quick. All right, but no, the men are not to take... Hey, really, we can't take accountability for nobody. All right, if you're an Israelite, you know, and you're above the age of 12, you know, because once you become, you know, I heard Apostle Tahar say, you know, once you hit the age of 12, you are under the law then. You know, even though we're not saved by just keeping the law. All right, but you come under that covenant, man. You know, so then you're responsible for your own actions, man. You know, you have men and women that are serving the Lord right now. All right, that came from different fucked up ass past, man. The Lord has had mercy upon us, so there's no excuse. This gospel is being preached, man. You have the choice to go out and keep sleeping with all these different men. You have a choice to, even the men, you have a choice to sell drugs. You know, to want to be rappers and all that stupid shit, man. All right, this is not why we were put on this earth, man. We were put on the earth to serve you. How about Shemal Shah? We're serving our punishment in America. All right, but we're repenting, returning to the Lord, so that, Lord willing, when all hell breaks loose, he has mercy upon us. That's what we're here for right now, man. All this bullshit, you know. But everybody talking about this whole Dr. Umar Johnson shit, you know, and he don't know what the fuck he's saying, man. You know, you got people on the comment board applauding them. Of course, black women. All right, because they, you know, it sounds like everybody just want to hear what sounds good. And see, the men of the Lord, we're not here to tell you what sounds good. You know, yeah, we get on women, we get on men. All right, but we're pushing the gospel of Yahweh Shem Shah. We're pushing what the scriptures say. Okay? We ain't saying shit just because it feels good. Oh, you know, if you think you about to come around us or you just want to hear us bash women, nah. You know, everybody's under a scope, including us. Right? But that's what these red pill individuals are pretty much doing. You got the red pill that just is all about bashing these women. You also have the other side that's all about just bashing men. It ain't about that. It's balance, man. The whole head is sick. Our people are fucked up, you know? And we crying aloud, sparing not. We telling everybody where they going off at. And if you don't get right, the Lord gonna fucking kill you, man. That's the same message we received. It cut us because it didn't sound pleasant to the flesh. All right, but this is for the saving of our souls, man. And we're forever thankful that the Lord brought us into this truth. And Lord willing, we endure into the end. So, Lord willing, is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Till next time, Shalom.